Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Owen can answer questions in German, but that's, and I know
Understanding
I can't, so
food.
it might be just you at that point. So, all
I
right,
like talking to myself.
there you go. All right, take 2 seconds of silence, and then let's bring it in.
Great. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Itty Bitty Racing podcast, this time online rather than in the car, because we have an interview. Today we are going to be talking to our friend and fellow racer, Owen Bartlett. Owen, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I am Owen Bartlett.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
Yeah,
Give us a little
Okay.
more, right?
Feel like
No,
there
no,
was
no.
anything else to add.
How old are you? What's your favorite color?
I am now 17 by about 9 days.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. My favorite color is a nice dark red.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Where
is
are
there
you
anything else?
from?
St. Louis.
And what?
I don't.
And so, how did you get started racing?
That would be my dad. Pretty much ever since I was born, I've heard stories of him racing and you know beating people up on the racetrack, and ever since then I've always been interested in motorsports and vehicles and racing. And then one day my dad's friend Rob Oliva invited my dad and one of his friends out to the track, and my dad thought, yeah, let's bring Owen along and see what happens. And it just fell down the hill from there. And uh, yeah, that's pretty much it.
That doesn't sound familiar at all, does it, Annie?
No,
No.
I wouldn't know anything
You
about my dad getting into somebody's dad getting into them into racing.
Yeah, it never happens.
Never happens. No, of course. No.
And so, how long ago? How long have you been racing? How long ago is that?
It's pretty much been a full year now. I started last year with the tally opener at Wira with the Formula Mini class, where I got my first win. So
I think you beat me. No. I was not. I wasn't at the opener. I wasn't until April. So you hadn't beat. That was not a. You didn't beat me at that point, but you beat me quite many other times.
yeah, there was plenty other times for that.
Don't
No, I
sound so
beat.
cocky, kid.
Well, there's a lot of ones on my wall right now. So
So what bike are you racing in Formula Mini?
I was racing a KLX 140.
Okay. Okay.
That's just the mini motard that my friend, well, my dad's friend, but I'd say now my friend Mark Stork lended us for the season. So
Right on. Okay.
And was racing your first time being on a bike, like riding and riding a bike, motorcycle?
well, it was my first time on a clutched bike. But ever since I was really young, my dad had an old little pit Yamaha, little pit bikes, and I used to ride around the neighborhood on that for a long time.
Okay. Right on. And so this upcoming season, you've got two bikes you're going to be racing. And let's talk about those. What do you got? What do you got in the stable for this
Yes, we
season?
have a weird Franken bike TZ125 with a WR 250X motor thrown in there, with a couple Honda bolts thrown in for the rear sets too. It's got a little bit of everything on it, and then a Yankton Motorsports ZX4RR
Okay.
for this new season. We're doing the whole CRA calendar with both those bikes.
Okay. Okay. So I didn't realize that the TZ was that you would swap the TZ to a four-stroke.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we originally bought it and it had the four stroke in it, so we just thought, we're not gonna change it back. We don't need to worry about constantly fixing the two stroke now.
I
So
was just going to say, yeah, rebuilding the top end about every other race, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and trying to keep a two-stroke in the power band. That's a thing.
As I've been
So.
told, yeah,
So the ZX4 is like, so that's a contract ride for you, correct?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
It is the LM2 contract bike, so I'm getting that for the season to ride with.
Cool. So
So tell us, I think there's a good story behind you finding out that you got the contract, right?
Oh, yes, that would be Thanksgiving. So I've known Rob for a very long time, who is the owner of LM2, because he's been friends with my dad since he started racing. And so I've known him for a very long time, but I've never really talked to him too much. But this past Thanksgiving, I was out with my family. I think we were at a movie, and I go home. My cousins go get some ice cream, and my dad, he tells me to sit down across our living room table and just ask the question. So what are your goals for next season? And I looked at him and I was like, this there's something behind this. He's not just asking. There's something else. And then he dropped the bombshell and said, it's your decision. Do what you want with it. But he just reminded me to have fun and do what I wanted to do. So
that's amazing.
So what are your goals for next season?
it's a great question. Right now, it looks like it's really just adapting to the new bike, and getting familiar with Brainerd and Hastings, which are the two tracks on the CRA calendar right now. Just get comfortable on a little bit of a bigger bike, the higher speed, and just have fun. So
This is so familiar.
I know.
Except
we're paying for my motorcycle.
Yes, we're paying for your motorcycle. Right? Yeah.
We paid a little bit for it. We had to pay for race prep.
Okay. But still, that's a pretty great thing.
Big deal still.
Yeah. Where's Hastings? That's not a track I'm familiar with.
I don't exactly remember where it is. I think it's about 8.5 hours away from me in St. Louis. That's all I know.
Yeah, I can see Annie mad Googling it right now.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Nebraska? Nebraska.
Okay. I didn't know there was a track in Nebraska. So, that's, I mean, I'm sure there's racetracks all over the world, but all over the states that I don't know about. But
I just wish there were in Missouri.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because how far is Brainerd from you?
Like 12 or 13 hours north of me.
Wow.
It's far. Yeah.
Okay. So you coming out to tally into some of the Southeast rounds with Wira as a haul too, then?
Yeah. If I just leave straight from my house, it's another 8 hours, 8, 9. I feel like I'm always in the middle of nowhere with racing because I've got to go everywhere to get to a track. But
it's a lot of time in the car with your dad.
Yeah.
Maybe you should start a podcast. Oh.
From the car. Yep.
That's what that's what we do. It helps pass the time.
It works. So,
it's never bad, and I've been used to long drives because all of my family lives 8.5, 9 hours away. So yeah, I've been dealing with them my whole life. So long drives are pretty easy.
Oh, we complain about 4 hours to Roebling or when CMP was a thing. CMP is about 7 for us, but that's the longest. So, and there's no CMP round this year. So
7's still no joke, though.
Yeah, but it's not 12.
The good thing about that is my grandparents are right on the way. So the plan was to drive up to them, sleep for a night, and then could finish the drive with like 3 hours left.
Oh, there you go.
That's nice.
That sounds way better. Yeah. So
it's better than just a straight shot.
Oh God,
I don't think either of us could handle that.
I've done it from here to a buddy of mine and I raced did a 3-day weekend at Audubon a bunch of years ago, and it's 12 hours straight through. And we did that, and it was not great.
No, it is not.
I would like to point out that we also drove to Maine in 2 days, which is
Yes,
27 hours split into 13-hour days.
yeah, we weren't
So
pulling a trailer, so
we were
That
still in the car for that long.
no,
yes, we were. That's
So
true. That's
uh,
true. So,
that just shivers down my spine thinking about it.
oh man.
yeah.
So on this past season on the TZ, you had a pretty hard wreck on the TZ last season.
Well, I had the hard wreck. The TZ had it real easy. Um, yeah, at Barber
Hmm.
around Charlotte's Web,
Yep.
uh, just went a gear down, back end locked up, slipped out. I went over the handlebars, bike rolled off to the grass and fell over. You know,
So the bike was fine. It was just you that were a mess. So
yeah. No, it flipped me off and it calmly rolled over to the grass, and I think we broke a lever guard, and that was
wow. Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
My dad has said a lot that I was lucky, and that I will never see that happen ever again. So,
No. Yeah. I only wish Annie's most recent crash was that easy on the bike.
yeah,
But of
We
course you
got
also
it to we got it running. I
yeah.
I will stand on business on it passed tech. That
ah
is
yes,
enough, you know?
that is our mantra
Yeah.
these days is will it
Yes.
pass
It
tech,
passed
right?
it
If it
ran.
passes tech, you're all good to go.
That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So you can't
Right.
complain that much because I still
I'm
raced it
not,
the next day.
it wasn't so much that day. It was the putting the motorcycle back together for, 2 weeks afterwards. So,
Yeah, but I wasn't a part of that.
yeah, I know you weren't.
So
Yes, that's because I am the injured pit bitch this season. So,
yeah.
um,
Perks of, oh, and for the record, I don't know how this might work for you, but perks of moving out of the house include having your dad work on all your motorcycles while you're gone.
He
So,
he might do that a little bit, but knowing my dad, he's gonna sit there and make a plan and order a bunch of parts, and then he's gonna wait till I come back during a break and then make me work on it.
no,
you need a less patient dad.
yeah, impatience doesn't help. So,
Well,
but
considering
half
you're
the
out there
world,
in
yeah, half the
you consider
world
you were
worked
out in
on.
the garage in like a sling, like hammering on the motorcycle,
Yes, I was. Yeah, and I'm supposed to be in the sling right now, but I didn't want to be on camera. So, um, so talk about the upcoming season, Owen. Like, so we were kind of talking about this before we started recording. So, what happens next?
So the next thing is to take the ZX4 and go out to Hastings and do a
Okay.
track day with it. Late April, I'm pretty sure that's like 21st, 22nd. Do
Okay.
both of the full days. And then the next thing is the CRA opener, which is
Yeah.
at Brainerd. And the plan is again to just have the ZX4 for that race, so
Okay.
I can get familiar with the platform and get introduced to Brainerd without, throwing an extra bike into the mix. And then the next round, I think it's Hastings, Brainerd. I'm gonna double check.
It's starting to sound like the Wera Southeast season. Roving tally, roving tally, roving tally.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, yeah. Um,
yeah.
okay. And have you ever ridden either of those tracks?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I I have looked at the layout of both of the tracks,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to be an interesting first run on both of those. So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
New bike track you've never been to. Right.
Yep,
That's
I
a
mean, that's
thing.
how it
I
started,
mean, to be fair, like because your first season was only the last season, most of the tracks like new track is not an
All of the
uncommon
tracks I'm
thing.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't a stretch, is what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. Not all of us have ridden 10,000 laps at Talladega, John.
Yes, I know. No, that's because I used to rent it. So, occasionally. But so yeah, new track, new bikes. And so the first couple rounds you're only going to do on the ZX, and then you're
Yeah.
going to bring then you're going to bring the TZ in kind of as the secondary.
Yeah.
Is there a mini class?
There Definitely not on Brainerd, but on Hastings it might be because Hastings is only a little bit bigger than Tally. I think
Okay.
it
If
maybe
there
around.
is, are you planning to ride it?
I mean, if I get my hands on a mini, sure.
Oh, did they take the KLX back?
Yeah, yeah. Mark Stork has it sitting
Oh
in
man.
one of
Oh.
his garages somewhere.
Just
You know.
just tell Joe Fisher that he needs to haul his grobs out.
Yeah,
Bring you a
make him
Grom.
haul his drums.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he might. He
He
might.
No, and
he
Joey might.
he
Yeah.
grabbed an extra one for me last time, so
Did
I
he?
mean, yeah. He went. I think he said he was like halfway there, and he turned around and picked up an extra one, and
Wow.
trip. So he made it possible for me to race that
That's
tally meet.
wild. That's
Got it.
wild. Well, I mean, he's given me, at Barber last year, he let me race the one because he didn't have enough extra ones. He let me race the one that he was going to be racing this season. I've actually, because he crashed it at Tally, I've actually
Yeah.
ridden that bike more than he has.
Well, unless he managed to put it back together for the roving round that was
Well,
a
that's
few
true,
weeks ago.
yeah. But
Yeah.
but when we left Tally, I had ridden that bike more than he had, and we lost Annie. Okay, well, so. So momentary. So let us pause while we get Annie back. So,
Yeah.
oh, God. Oh, would you decide you had enough?
I just closed the tabs. Oops.
Oh, God. It's a good thing you're editing this. So,
Yeah. I was looking at Hastings, like I was looking at Hastings information to see how long it was because I was curious. And
how long is it?
I don't know. Their website sucks.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, God help you. Don't close this tab again. Okay. So,
I won't.
Uh,
so do you have so this is maybe a left field question for you. So do you have, any sort of pre-race routine? Are you suspicious at all or superstitious?
I mean, I'm maybe a little bit superstitious, but it's
Okay.
not
Wait, so
really.
you're not superstitious? You're just a little stitious?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm gonna go crawl
Okay.
under the desk now. That was terrible. I'm the dad. I'm
Sorry.
supposed to be making the dad jokes.
I know. I
So
had to.
You're
Anyway.
you're you're getting your job replaced.
apparently, yeah,
You're slow
yeah.
now.
Mhm.
She's racing my motorcycle. She's now taking my dad jokes. I mean,
Yeah.
do I need to be here?
Um, but no, I focus on just, calming myself down, making sure my mind's not in a crazy place, just, you know, staying calm, maybe thinking about music, trying not to focus on the increasing butterflies, just
Yeah.
sometimes goof around, you know, just a lot of the times I just stretch in the suit,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
I don't
just
I
kind
don't
of,
really do anything super out of the ordinary, I feel.
yeah. Well, that's going to sound great. Oh, well. So,
Okay. So do you have a favorite track so far?
Yes, out of the two that I have completed a lap on, I definitely say Barber is my favorite and Tally close second.
Little shit. You have cut me off in so many terrible places at Barber. I one of the first interactions that I ever had with you, like conversationally, was you coming to apologize for you cutting me off in museum.
Yeah.
You little shit.
I came
I'd
flying
like
on
to.
Charlotte's Web. I had so much speed. My dad, he said he was sitting on top of that tower, we were just watching, and he said he's gonna catch Annie. And I was like, I'm so far behind Annie. You were like halfway down the straight, and I was all the way turning out of Charlotte's, and I was just like, I'm not gonna be able to catch Annie. And by the time I was turning in, I could look over at you. But yeah, no, I would. I went and I did it, and then after that I was like, that was probably a little close. And I pulled in the pit,
A
and my
little.
dad was just laughing.
Because I was not expecting you to be there, and like, so I'm turning into the corner. I was like, oh shit.
He's turning in, and all of a sudden I go, woo.
Yeah, and I was like, oh well, there he goes. All right, but
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, with the 140, I didn't break until I was past the apex of the first right-hander on Museum. Yeah, yeah.
so you've only done Tally and Barber. You haven't done any of the other Southeast rounds or anything?
No, well, what we did is we were doing the Mid Central, and so
Oh
I just
right,
got enough points from Tally to get the regional championship for the Southeast.
nice.
So
And he's
yeah.
like, that
I
should have been mine, damn it.
well, I will admit that of course I'm not. Of course I'm bummed that you're not going to be at the Weira rounds, but with Kyle gone and now you're not there, I've got a good shot at least
Yeah,
the Formula Mini regional championship. So at least one of
yeah,
them.
yeah.
By the way,
So
Kyle's back.
yeah, but he's gonna be slow.
Kyle race. I don't know. Kyle. He took first at Roebling.
I
I
don't
think he
think
might have
he
been the
did.
only one he might have been the only one in the
Yeah,
class.
he was
But
probably the only one in the class, but
Win's a win. That doesn't.
a win's a win, right?
a win's a
So,
win.
kind of like your last win, kid. So
Okay, well, yeah. I did get. I mean, are we talking about the one in the 300? Because I did get lapped on that one, but I still
yes,
I
that was the
still
one I
came home
was
with a
talking
trophy.
about. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I came. I
So
forgot that I came in second at on the minis because
yeah,
Doug
you
beat
came in
me.
second on the minis, but yeah, the other guy in your class crashed out
Yeah.
for the 300.
Sometimes that's how you come home with a trophy.
Right,
Can't.
right. As we've often
They,
said,
they,
should
they,
we bring in all the cliches? To finish first, you
Finish
must first
first. You
finish.
must first finish. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so good stuff. So, other than on your contract, do you have any other sponsors other than LM2?
yeah. There's DP Brakes.
Yeah.
We get Bison too, because I
Mhm.
just ordered my Bison suit. Actually, just came in.
I know. I saw it online.
New
It's
suit.
super
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's gonna be. It's real tight still. It needs to be broken in a
Yeah.
lot.
few rounds of stretching and a few laps, right? So
Yeah,
Yoga.
it'll feel
yoga.
good eventually, but I mean that's it's more comfortable than a lot of anything that I've worn,
Hmm.
especially the suits. Like the suits, either the knees were just a little bit too short or too long,
Hmm.
and like the shoulders never really lined up for me. And now like those crucial areas, they all just fit, and it's
It's the
good.
joy
So
of
I'm happy we have that. We have an Arai, KYT. There's a couple more too, I think, but those are also sponsors that I share, like Woodcraft and Vortex.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, we have Dunlop tires. Obviously, there's the Yankton Motorsports ZX4 because
Right.
Yankton sponsors. So
Very cool. And are you still looking for sponsorship? Are you looking for additional sponsorship this season?
yeah, I mean, we'll always take them.
We'll take anybody's money,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah. Always. The answer should. Every racer should. The answer should always be yes.
yes, yeah,
you know.
absolutely. Yeah, I remember we contacted a bunch and we got a few more than last season, but
Okay.
I mean, pretty much everyone that we contacted, we already either had through LM2 or we already had from last year, and we were just
Okay.
keeping up with it.
Right on. Right on.
So, what's being in high school and racing like? Do you feel like the coolest? The coolest?
I mean, a little bit. I feel a lot cooler than my friends, but I generally don't go talking about it. Um, I stick with my little group, and I survive high school. Um, you know, My teachers don't always like me sometimes because I'm gone for half the weekends in fall and spring.
You miss a lot of Fridays, right?
Yeah, I miss a lot
Yep.
of Thursdays and Fridays because I'm gone. And they're always like, "Why are you gone?" It's like, "I'm racing motorcycles." And they look at me like I'm crazy every
Like
time.
you've lost your fucking
Yeah,
mind. Yes.
every time. It's the same look, just like, "You're doing what?" But no, it's very interesting, and it's a lot of work to keep up with everything and try and stay focused on, because it's these are both things that you have to, if you're going to do them, you need to do them, and you can't really split them up. So while I'm racing, I need to race, and while I'm, working on school and at home, I need to focus on that more. And that's like my biggest struggle point, is because I always want to be racing and I always want to be doing that. So sometimes there's a little bit of neglect towards high school.
The fact that by the way, the fact that this one is the 21-year-old is giving you grief, you know. That was only that wasn't that long ago, Annie.
Kids these days ignoring their studies to go motorcycle racing.
Yeah, yeah,
What a
yeah,
shame.
yeah. Says the one who flies home every, once a month to go motorcycle racing.
Yeah, and do I take the week off afterwards? Generally, but it's fine.
I didn't know you were taking the week off afterwards too. Oh wow,
Well,
okay.
it's my birthday week. I gotta
Oh,
take that
well,
one.
yeah, that week for
Yeah,
sure, absolutely.
yeah.
So,
No, but
duh.
also I just yeah, no. If it's a race weekend, there's at least 3 days of not working afterwards.
Wow, that's lucky. I get maybe Monday morning.
Well, I work a very flexible schedule, so it's
That's
great.
that's good. I wish I could like shape my classes like that.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm glad
goodness.
I am glad that I got into racing after I graduated college, because or pretty much like right as I was graduating college, because if I was balancing that and racing, I would that'd be a different story.
Yeah,
Because
you
I
do.
remember like trying to bring an assignment to the racetrack, because I was like, "Oh crap, I need to have this done by Monday." Didn't happen.
Yeah, that
Did
shit
not
didn't happen.
happen.
I remember
No.
that. I actually remember you doing that because
Yeah.
I was like, shouldn't you be working on it? Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah, no, no,
No.
Not happen.
No.
no, it didn't
No.
happen. No.
That's
So,
about what happens when I try and bring my schoolwork. I was like, oh, I'll probably have some time to do this. And at driving home, I look at my backpack and I was like, nothing got done.
yeah, that didn't
Yeah.
move, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, too funny, too funny. So let's see what other question did I want? So if a potential sponsor wanted to reach out to you, how do they get to you?
They can get to me through my Facebook, which is just Owen Bartlett Racing. They
Right.
can email me, or they could even email LM2 if they wanted to.
Okay.
Both LM2 has both Facebook and Instagram, and my email is somewhere.
Your email's somewhere in there. That's cool. So
Yeah,
good
yeah.
stuff. So, okay. Annie, do you have any questions that I didn't ask?
Yeah, what is your favorite thing about racing?
Oh,
What keeps you coming back, you know?
I mean, a lot of just the excitement of being on the bike and being a couple feet away from each other and doing this crazy thing that if you say to your teacher you're going, they look at you like you're crazy. um I love the speed and I love the feeling of being on the bike. But again, one of the things that really surprised me when I first went to the racetrack is all the people and how you know they immediately start talking to you whether or not you've known them for 50 years and haven't seen them for 25 of those 50 years, or you are just showing up as a high schooler and know absolutely nobody's name. They still come up to your tent and start talking and treat you a lot like a family, which is
Mhm.
so great.
Awesome. We've talked so many times about how racing is just like a family, so
Yeah, yeah,
we agree. It's kind of
Absolutely, absolutely.
yep.
That's, I mean, because that's the, people ask me this, and that's the reason I come back,
yeah.
right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love racing. It's just I've been doing it since Oh Dark 30, but the dawn of time. But
Yeah,
you
'cause you're
know,
old.
because I'm old, yeah. So, well, I'm probably older than Owen's dad. I just realized that. Anyway,
Well, how old are you? I can tell you the answer if you really.
I'll cut it out, I swear.
yeah, sure, okay. I'm 54.
Would you say you're 51?
54.
54. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, I'm older than your dad, aren't I? Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
still in his 40s yet, so
Is he really?
Well,
yeah,
he
he's
started, he started young.
49, I think.
Remember,
Oh,
I was,
he's like right there.
yeah, I mean, I was 33 when you were born, Annie. So, I got a late start. So, but, all right. Is there anything else and so, Owen, is there anything you would want to tell the audience about yourself or your upcoming racing? Like where can we see you race the next time?
The next time you can obviously see me at Hastings during that track day in late April, April 20th, April 22nd. And if you want to come watch me at any of my races, all of them are posted on my Facebook with the dates and the track I'm going to be at. And if I ever add a race to the calendar, I'm sure we'll update that and it'll show up.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So I think that's it. What do you think, guys? Yeah.
I'm good. I don't
Good
have anything
deal.
else.
All right. Well, Owen, thank you for coming out onto the podcast today. We appreciate
Yeah.
it. It was always fun to talk to you anyway. So,
Yeah.
Want to
especially
talk to you.
since we're
It's a
especially since we're not going to get to hang out with you this season
Yeah,
so much.
yeah.
So,
I'm so sad about that, but you know,
CRA that'll be fun. That'll be a
yeah,
blast. So
yeah. I know a lot of people up there from the first time my dad and was up there with Rob when I got hooked 2 years ago.
mm,
I met a lot of those people, and so I know them, and it's kind of the same thing. It was like I abandoned the CRA people, joined Wira, and now I'm abandoning the Wira people and going back to CRA. So
so you just have it's like having a step kid almost, right? You got two families. So
I'm just
yeah.
going back and forth.
there you
But
go.
yeah,
Good stuff.
I gotta try and hit more Wira races.
We
So
hope so. Well, we'll be there. So good stuff.
Yep.
All right, then I'm going to stop the recording and we'll call it a day here. So.